Yes. Yes, please. Good morning. I'll go. I'll go. I'll go. So, I just want to just introduce you all to what we have going on here. This is just a memorial for Raquel. I have, we're gonna start when my mom arrives. Okay, we're gonna start, but so in mid 2017, when Raquel was diagnosed. Uh, we started a prayer circle. We started a prayer circle. We were doing everything. We were pulling for our sister. We started a prayer circle. And this is how our prayer circle occurred on this beach or further up, and every other, for a month or every 2 months or something. And we just had other friends and family. We would come out here at sunrise and we would call on our ancestors. We would call on our ancestors here. We felt there was so much power here in this space. You know that we are on the earth. We're connected to the Creator. We have the heavens, we have the ocean, and we have the most spectacular light show as the sunrise. And so it all spoke to the presence of God. It all spoke to the presence of God. And so we felt to come here in a space like this and appeal to the Creator and say, bring healing. Bring healing. And it expanded. It expanded. So anyway, so that's where the circle came. Just our families, there'll be about 30 of us, and we pour libation. We pour libation, and we call on our ancestors, all the ancestors that were represented there. Our grandmothers, our ancestors, we call on them and we say, come and bring healing. Okay? And so we would have this altar with these offerings. And after we finish, we just take pieces of the altar and everybody just goes to the water with their prayer, with their own private prayer, and we just give it to the ocean. Raquel was a daughter of the ocean. When Raquel was 5 years old, Raquel ended up at the bottom of a pool, Queen's College pool. If it wasn't for her two cousins, Dominic, who's deceased, and Crispin, but the whole episode was not tragic. It wasn't heavy, it wasn't a burden. Raquel was comfortable at the bottom of the pool. That also speaks to her, to who she was, her spirit. The whole swim class, everybody finished. She didn't go jump in the pool. Think she could swim, and she jumped to the deep end. And not only that happened to her mother, not in a pool, and it happened to her daughter. So there's this lineage of water. There's this lineage of water that covers her. And so it was especially powerful for us to bring her to the water for healing. And so she would come and she would take our offering and she would go in the water. And my mom and their other elders would come and go to the water. And so that's what happened here. And so my mother said, he's talking about a memorial, and she said, Ali, bring Raquel here. Bring the memorial here. You know? And so that's what we did. That's what we're doing. Okay, so that's what happens here. And I want to thank all of you. When Raquel was in the ICU, and I would call people, and I would call people, now people talking to her. Raquel couldn't speak to anyone. A lot of people couldn't figure that out. But then they figured it out after a while, and they get to talk their talk, send their love to Raquel. Some people start sending songs. People send songs. Mr. Quadjo, that was his song to his nana. And sometimes when Raquel heard your voices, I could see tears come down her eyes. I could see her shrug. You know, I saw this when Nana boy, I prayed that. So there's like 10 songs that really was on the playlist. But I can tell you when Nana boy song came, we played that like 5 times, 6 times, over and over. All right, that one sort of took that one took over the playlist. You know, the Merlin sent a song, Masiki sent songs, Tamika sent a song, Tamika sang, and so I would just play songs. That was a part of our ritual. You know, up in doctor's hospital ICU. You know, and so I was there every day. And so the orderlies, they start calling me use the music band. Use the music band. You know? We had that ICU was lit. ICU 2 was lit. I was playing it as loud as they allowed me to. You know? Because then we open up our prayer to the whole ICU floor. Or everybody in ICU. You know, we try to extend that prayer to every one of them. You know, and so the whole experience, this whole experience has been one of enlightening. All right, and I believe all your prayers. I believe all your prayers brought here all these extra days and years. All right, the cancer went in remission, the cancer came back, but I believe all your prayers stood firm for her. It brought her time to see Kai mature. When you look at the photos from 2017, Kai was like a little short. She's running in the water. They won't play in the water, and we praying. And now Kai is a young woman. You know, when we first got the diagnosis, you know, Raquel was like, we were walking down the street, my wife and I, we were with Raquel, and Raquel said, all I want to do is see my babies grow up. She wanted more time to see them grow up. She didn't want to leave them right there. You know, she said, just give me some time to see them grow up. And so Kai turned 14 like 3 weeks ago, you know, and so Kai could stand up. Kai could stand on her own. Kai is, you know, so she did it. She accomplished that, and I'm so grateful for that. And so I wanted to especially thank all of you who just send in your prayers, who were just prayer warriors praying for my sister. Our sister, our mother, our friend, you know. And so the prayer circle, actually there was another person in our prayer circle, and that was Miss Nichols, Donna Nichols, who also passed from cancer, you know. And we were just so grateful to have the prayer circle. And the prayer circle, we didn't have a schedule. It's like all the kids now started to ask us, hey, when we have the prayer circle, and Thomas, could you call? And so I would just call everyone. Like a day before, I said, okay, the prayer circle is tomorrow at 6 o'clock. You know, because you know in the summertime, the sun rises earlier. The sun rises like 6 o'clock, so you got to be out 5:30, okay? And so as the year progressed, the sunrise, the time advances, and so they came, and we would all come out here and gather. Guy, give me a. So we have some sauce and some juice and drinks and stuff for after we finish them. And over there on those plates, all of those are jujus over there, okay? Those are jujus. Raquel loves jujus, and this is the juju season, and Raquel left us in the juju season. You know? Raquel just left us in the juju season. And so we brought some, these are not just regular jujus. These are like big, fat jujus. Raquel is the first person who introduced me to these big fat jujus. And she wouldn't tell us where the tree was. And she kept the seed. You eat the juju and she keeping your seed. You couldn't even grow the tree. And so I was driving, I mean, and this was years ago. Aubrey bought her the juju. And so I was driving down the Eastern Road yesterday, and I saw this tree with these huge jujus. Yeah. So these are the jujus. So Raquel, so I went and I asked the guy just yesterday, and he allowed me to take them. Now, they ain't taste the best. They ain't taste the best. They ain't taste the best, all right? All right. So these are actually the jujus from the tree that Raquel shared with us. I actually found the tree yesterday. I went and asked, I found the tree that I was with Quadro out here, and I dropped him home, and the tree is like right opposite where he lives. I found the tree after years of looking for the tree. I found it yesterday, and these are the jujus from that tree. These taste good. These taste good. Okay? And so I get plenty of the other one. I only get a couple of these. But I can tell you where the tree is. All right? I can tell you where the tree is. All right? So we can have people come up and they talk to speak their hearts about Raquel. Speak their hearts about Raquel. I think Kai and Nicole would like to talk about their mom. Play the music. Play the music. Okay. So, okay. So I'm gonna read the obituary. Okay. So everybody could hear me, right? So Raquel was born to Elsie Mae Nee Burroughs and Thomas A. Glass Sr., deceased, on Sunday morning, November 8, 1970. Dr. Esparkers commented that she must come to something great as she disturbed him from his church service. So Mom was telling me when she went into labor and she went up to PMH, it was before anything was scheduled, and the nurses had to go to the church and call the doctor and bring the doctor to have her deliver Raquel. And he was like, she's disturbing me out of the church. So that's why she said she must become to something great. So from the start, Kelly was a happy baby who brought much happiness and joy to the hearts of her family. Outgoing, generous, and kind, she was a sweet and funny child who lived life to the fullest. She enjoyed the company of her siblings and cousins, so much so that even though she was a girl, she could not be excluded from the adventures in Grammy's backyard. She enjoyed the outdoors, climbing trees, hunting seasonal fruits, riding bikes, and scuffling with them, and she had the scars to prove it. So for a long time, Raquel was called a tomboy. She was a tomboy for a long time. I don't know when she became a woman, but she was a tomboy. I don't know when. And if you look on her forehead, there's a cross. Yeah. There's a cross, and that's from running. And she fell at her godfather's house at a party. And she busted her forehead. She's real young. And that's one of her scars. Her family places much emphasis and value in education, so Raquel's education began very early in the home. Her parents ensured that she had access to books, games, puzzles, and other brain teasers. There are more teachers in her family tree than any other professional group. Her formal education took her through the halls and porches of Queen's College, William Gordon Primary, St. Anne's High School, and R.M. Bailey, where she graduated in 1988. She excelled academically and participated in extracurricular activities and sports. After high school, Raquel was a sprinter. She was a track athlete. Raquel was a sprinter. After high school, Raquel went to work for her dad in his business. She was determined and tenacious, with just the right amount of spunk mixed with a zeal for life that made him proud every day. Tommy was a great teacher and example. He was hardworking, strong, loving, and gentle. He taught her to practice responsibility, decency, reliability, respect, and integrity in business. Raquel's first child, Rahane, came while Raquel was a senior in high school. And of course, she never wed. This was no hindrance to her because of the love and support of her parents and her own conviction that this, her love child with Aubrey Briscoe Pratt, was the gift we all needed as a family. We all needed it our family needed it. Rahane came and just glued our family together. Raquel enrolled in the College of the Bahamas, and after a term decided that it was not the path for her, not because of the academic challenge. I think Raquel is like my mom's brightest child academically. And she just, it wasn't the academics. She wanted to do something that she was passionate about. Supported by her parents, she enrolled in the ASM Beauty World Academy in Hollywood, Florida, where she completed the cosmetology program in 1995. Additionally, she completed specialization certification for natural hair care practitioners and locticians in Atlanta, Georgia. But that last sentence sound highfalutin, right? But what happened was, I was in Atlanta, and I was in the community, and I had my locks. So I contacted all the people who did locks in Atlanta, and so I invited Raquel, came down, and she went to all of them, and she worked locks with them. She worked with them. Bronner Brothers is in Atlanta. She visited Bronner Brothers, and that's Bronner Brothers is one of the biggest black hairstylist suppliers in the world. And so Raquel did that for a couple of months, and so that's her. After that, Bronner Brothers is in Atlanta. She visited Bronner Brothers, and that's Bronner Brothers is one of the biggest black hairstylist suppliers in the world. And so Raquel did that for a couple of months. All the equipment to make this dream a reality. Karabu nut, which is wolof for deep goodness, deep natural rootsy goodness. An intimate natural hair care and beauty salon opened its doors in 1996. A businesswoman and practitioner in new hair care market, she became a noteworthy leader in the field. She traveled and participated in many trade, hair, and fashion shows. Most notably, she was a fixture at the Bronner Brothers International Beauty Show. She always exuded style, grace, glamour, and a keen sense of fashion. She was always gentle, honest, and frank in her assessment of her clients. Raquel and Karabu Nut evolved as the mecca for knowledge in and haven for your natural hair care. So Karabu Nut has been in existence for 25 years. Karabu Nut has been in existence for 25 years. Raquel held it down for 25 years. How many beauty salons, you know, open up for 25 years and in the same spot? You always knew where it was. You don't have to go far enough. Karabu Nut was there for 25 years. She was known for ethical business practices, impeccable attention to detail, and passionate love for her clients. Her customer care and professionalism were outstanding. So much so that over the years, many of her clients and patron relationships grew into friendships. In their journey and quest to find and use natural hair as a choice, and in their quest for self-confidence, self-love, many of their clients found sisterhood as an outcome of visiting the beauty salon. You know, because, you know, we as African people, we have always been taught to see ourselves as something else and not our natural self. So when Raquel opened up a store, that was groundbreaking. You know, the way your locks, the way your natural hair. You know, sometimes I come in there, some young sister from COB at the time. She's like, oh yeah, I want to go natural. And you know how did we become that as a people, where we have to make that choice to become natural, to become back to ourselves? You know, that's you know, do you ever think of that? We have to make a choice to come back to who we are, to what we were born as, what the Creator made us as. We have to make a choice to go back to that. You know, and Raquel stood for that. She made that choice. She'll say, I will do this. Come, bring out your natural self, you know. Raquel found love in Aubrey Briscoe Pratt. You know, a lot of people don't know Aubrey. They don't, you know, you don't see him, he's never around. You know, but that was Raquel's boyfriend from high school. You know, they went to R.M. Bailey together. You know, and he's the father of her children. And the two enjoyed a special companionship of love from high school. It seemed like the two had been together forever. No matter where life took them, he was always her sweetheart. Together they created a home which became a sanctuary for their family and a place where they made many lasting memories. Aubrey loved Raquel and is a good provider for their family. You know, Aubrey, Big Aubrey, you know, Big Aubrey, he's a rebel. You know, so you don't see him in circles that you would often travel. But let me tell you, when he and I was at doctor's hospital with Raquel, this rebel, he started crying. So much snot coming out his nose. Two of us standing up in doctor's hospital, we bawling, we crying. He don't want to look at me and I ain't looking at him. Only the two of us. Mom was way down in the lobby, we be upstairs somewhere, and he crying. Let me tell you, every day in December, since he was in the ICU, every time I call him, he starts sniffling. Every time. All right? Every time. Her son, Aubrey, was born in the midst of this. Raquel was intimately involved in his school life. She became the ultimate soccer mom. Her youngest daughter, Ebony and Kai, followed, all receiving her love and attention. Raquel first became a gym mom, then a swim mom, and finally a dance mom. They, along with Brianna, Aubrey's daughter, who Raquel helped raise like her own, became an awesome foursome as he supported them in every adventure of her and their imaginations. There was never anything of great importance to Raquel than her family. She always said that God blessed her with children. Rahane, her firstborn, made Raquel a nana with the birth of Arsenio and Aries, deceased. Arsenio, royalty. Nana boy became the central bundle of joy in her life. She showered him with love. One of her greatest pleasures came in trading stories of him as he grows, full of spunk and personality. There are simply no words to describe the joy she brought to hundreds of people in her role as companion, mother, daughter, sister, special friend, artisan, party planner, extraordinary. Raquel made everything extra special. She knew that love was in the details, and Raquel was detailed. She threw the best parties ever with over-the-top decorations, surprises around every corner, and silly games for young and old alike. I hate going to Raquel's house. I just hated it. All kind of different parties. I mean, that's the craziest thing, you know. But that was Raquel, and that was our family, you know. She brought us love. Sadly, in mid-2017, a real challenge emerged in her life. She was diagnosed with stage 4 breast cancer, and it metastasized into bone tumors. This blow was felt deep in the world of her family and friends. Here again, her indomitable spirit emerged to lead them. Raquel led us as she chose to battle the disease on her terms. From that initial discovery, she made a pact to live to see her girls grow up. In this stage of Raquel's life, she emerged as no cancer patient. The cancer is a serious thing. It's affecting so many of us. It is decimating our communities. It is affecting so many of us. But Raquel stood firm, and Raquel was strong. Without a doubt, life feels significantly dull in the absence of Kelly's bright and beautiful presence. We find comfort in knowing that she is in the Savior's care. She is reunited with her beloved ancestors who welcome her healed and restored with this announcement. Oh great God of our ancestors, welcome. This is the daughter whose lineage through Elsie May includes So this is a part of the libation. And we want to call everybody's lineage out here. When we get into the libation, we're going to call everybody's lineage. We want you to bring your ancestors here in this space. Your ancestors to help lift all of us up. Lift us up. A grandparent, Helen Melisiana Roca and Edmund Burroughs. Great-grandparents, Gladys Boyd and Ezekiel Roca. Great-grandparents, Emily Ferguson and Benjamin Burroughs. Alafia. Oh, great God of ancestors, welcome. This is the daughter whose lineage through Thomas Allison Augustus Cleare, as Raquel's father includes Tommy himself. Grandparents, Rowena Araminta Bain and George A.A. Cleare. Great-grandparents, Octavia Theodosia and Ezekiel Samuel Bain. Great-grandparents, Joanna and Thomas Stafford Cleare. Alafia. On Thursday morning, December 16, 2021, Raquel was transported to Doctor's Hospital after suffering from a fall. It was painful. In the next hours, relief of pain when the doctors relieved her of pain. Raquel's spirit bit deeper into life. She came in, she was hollering in pain. Mom said she still could hear Raquel's holler, and I hope this memory and her funeral will quiet the hollering down. She was hollering, I was there, I met them at doctors, and they calmed her down, and it was like nothing was wrong with her. Nothing. She was back smiling, she was breathing good, perfect. On that day, Raquel called everyone. Everyone she had enough phone she could call. She spoke to faith, and so this was like 10 o'clock in the morning on the 16th of December. I don't know if any of you here got a call from Raquel on that day. But Dornia says 10 o'clock that night, she got a call from Raquel. 10 o'clock that night. 12 o'clock, Raquel ended up in the ICU, intubated. That was her last energy. She bit into life and called everyone to express love and gratitude. And that was after the pain. Raquel called everyone. She called as many as she could call. On the morning of December 17th, she was intubated in the ICU and passed to eternity in the early morning of Wednesday, January 12, 2022. One thing about Raquel though, she loved juju. Did you know jujus grow as big as chicken eggs? And that's why we got the jujus. I just brought them to prove it. Well, they do. And Raquel was the one, the first year one so big with us. But she kept the seeds. She got a bag full from Aubrey, and these many years later, we still don't know where that tree is. So that was before I found the tree. I wrote this before I found the tree. Now look at her. Up and fly away in the middle of juju season. Alafia. Left to hold Raquel up in the sweet juju season are all of us. So my mom is here. So we can start. So like I say, so once we finish the libations and we finish the sharing, then everyone could just come and grab me and just go to the ocean and say your prayer, your personal prayer. You talk to the Creator and you just send the offering out. So I'm going to just pour the water. I'm going to pour the water down, and I'm going to call. And if you want to, you could call out your ancestors, and I'm going to pour this water for them. And I'm going to say Ensa, and you can say Amen, or you can say Ashe, or you can say Hear, Hear, or you can say Hooray. You could just add power to the calling of your ancestors. Just add power. Acknowledge them as they hold us up. Let us hold up that which holds us up. That's an African science. It says, it's Simba Simbi. It's a Kikongo word. It's a Kikongo phrase. And it's hold up that which holds you up. You know, hold up that which holds you up. And only African people could come up with something like that. Hold up that which holds you up. Just think about that. Think about that. And this is actually a mathematical concept. It's a geometrical science. And Africans were expressing these things before Herodotus and all these other mathematicians. So in their home they were saying, hold up that which holds you up. And that's a mathematical concept. You know, it's the circle, it's the sphere that when you add the ends together and you take a pen and you draw around it, it just goes around and you end up drawing on both sides. And so you go into yourself. You are holding up. You hold up. What is holding you up? Think about that. Think about what that involves. Hold up that which holds you up. It's mathematical. And our ancestors just were saying that around the corner. All right? Okay, God of ancestors. Okay, God of ancestors. I want to pour this libation for all the gods of our ancestors. All the gods of our ancestors, as our ancestors knew God, as our ancestors knew the Creator. I want to pour this libation to the gods of our ancestors, as our ancestors knew God. I want to pour this libation to the gods of our ancestors from East Africa and South, from West Africa and South, from South Africa and South, from North Africa and South, from Central Africa and South, from the African diaspora and South. I want to pour this libation for all those national ancestors who understood who we are as African people. I pour this libation for L.O. Pinland and South, James Doris and South, Marcus Garvey and South, Bob Marley and South, Sheikh Ali Diop and South, Mama Wallowa and South. I want to pour this libation for our ancestors. I want to pour this libation for our ancestors, those whose shoulders we stand on, those who hold us up, those who whisper to us, those who tell us when to go left, when to go right, those who tug at our hearts. And Raquel is now in the arms of our ancestors. And we all know, we all have experienced, we all have our family passed recently. They make up the company of our ancestors now. They are holding us up. I want to pour this libation for the Bain clan itself, for the Moore clan itself, for the Cleare clan itself, for the whole clan itself. For the McGregor clan and stuff. For the Morris clan and stuff. Basel. For the Colley clan and stuff. For the Burroughs clan and stuff. I want to pour this libation for the Beetle clan. I want to pour this libation. Sanders clan. For the Poitier clan. For the Kios clan and stuff. For the Hepburn clan and stuff. For the Ferguson clan and stuff. For the King clan and stuff. For the Nixon clan and stuff. For the Wells clan and stuff. For the Horton clan and stuff. For the Elliott clan and stuff. For the Smith clan and stuff. For the Library clan and stuff. For the Townsend clan and stuff. McHale clan and stuff. Gilbert clan and stuff. Colmer clan and stuff. I want to pour this libation. McKinsey clan and stuff. Dorset clan and stuff. Nichols clan and stuff. Clark clan and stuff. Teal clan and stuff. For the Brandt clan and stuff. Hyler clan and stuff. Butler clan and stuff. Evans clan and stuff. Grant clan and stuff. Campbell clan and stuff. Higgs clan and stuff. Dillon clan and stuff. Forbes clan and stuff. Dean clan and stuff. Scriven clan and stuff. Martin clan and stuff. Miller clan and stuff. Michelle clan and stuff. Woodside clan and stuff. Fox clan and stuff. Stubbs clan and stuff. Scavala clan and stuff. Bullet clan and stuff. Brown clan and stuff. Ware clan and stuff. Bartley clan and stuff. Mitchell clan and stuff. Miller clan and stuff. Duncombe clan and stuff. Smith clan and stuff. I want to pour this libation for the beautiful ones that are not yet born. I want to pour this libation for the beautiful ones who are not yet born. I want to pour this libation for the beautiful ones who are not yet born. I want to pour this libation for the original people of this land and stuff. I want to pour this libation for the original people of this land and stuff. I want to pour this libation for the original people of this land and stuff. I want to pour this libation for all those new ancestors. Those new ancestors, those unnamed, those just who are victims of the times we live. Those ancestors who are victims of the times we live in stuff. Those new ancestors, victims of the times we live. I want to pour this libation for healing. I want to pour this libation for healing. I want to pour this libation for comfort in grief. For comfort in grief. I want to pour this libation for love. 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 I want to pour this libation for Raquel Maurese Cleare. Raquel Maurese Cleare. Raquel Maurese Cleare. Raquel Maurese Cleare. I just want to say thank you all. Thank you all. So, you ready? Guy, you ready? Who wants to come and share the mic?
Good morning. I just want to say thanks to everybody to tell. Everyone to tell knows the kind of woman that Raquel was. Raquel was literally a walking angel here on earth. Raquel stored Carabinette, provided a safe haven for so many people. I've known Raquel for almost 30 years, and I will say it again, and I will always say it. I held the title as her best friend. I don't know when we turned into that, but we were that. We met years ago when we dated two brothers. That didn't work out, but our bond just grew. There's nothing that happened in my life that Raquel did not know. There's nothing that happened in her life that she did not share with me. I came into her life before Lil Aubrey was born, so all of her children were my godchildren, and Rahane became my adopted godchild because she was there before Raquel and I. One of the most difficult things that I have to do now is live my life without her. I don't know how to do it because I share everything with Raquel. Everything. When Raquel was diagnosed in 2017, I was away on a trip, and I kept calling Tumwa on her phone, and I'm like, what did the doctor say? I'm calling to find out. They refused to answer my calls. And when she came, she said she wasn't going to take my call and she wasn't going to let me know what was going on because I was on a trip with my commandos. She didn't want to disrupt my trip. That's the kind of person she was. But I was constantly calling because I needed to know how she was doing. When she came back and she told me, I could remember exactly where I was. And at that moment she told me that, I started crying. And I made a commitment to fight this beast called cancer with her by making a sacrifice and giving up meat. Everyone who knows me know I'm like a carnivore, so meat is my thing. And cold turkey, I gave up eating meat, and I would follow the lifestyle that Raquel was living as my fight and sacrifice for her to help her beat that beast. And when she fought that, and she was like, she was renewed. And in 2019, Raquel said she would travel with me to as many festivals and homecomings as she possibly could. And I was so happy because she wasn't coming before. So she was able to travel with me to 4 different festivals that started in February of 2019 and ended in December of 2019. And I have so many pictures and so many memories of my time with Raquel. And I told Tumwa, I told Martin, I'm going to need a manual to know how to live without Raquel. You know? And Raquel is just someone who you can just let your hair down with. We would spend so many hours together. We were talking, and he mentioned the natural hair salon. I was the one customer that used to sneak in to get a perm, right? And I would try to come like late when all of the customers are gone because it's a natural hair salon and she's still doing my hair. I'm like, nobody else is doing my hair. My best friend has a salon where I'm going. So I was like, in order to not try to tarnish the bride, I would sneak in late. And Lexi was telling me on Friday, she was like, she asked Raquel, like, who this is? Come in here and get the perm. And she said, Raquel told her, she's like, Charles. She say, ain't no one else doing her hair, so I got to do her hair, And I turned natural after I had my son, who's also Raquel's godchild, and everything. When I found out that I was pregnant with Zion, she was the 3rd person to know. The doctor, then me, then Raquel, And it's like, I honestly don't know how I'm going to maneuver this without her being here. Last week at work, something happened, and I went and I picked up my phone to go and message Raquel. because it's messaging her and letting her know what's going on with me. It's like breathing to me. It's automatic that I update her. You know, if something upset me, I call her. Someone upsets me, she's upset with whoever that person is. If someone bothers and upset her, I'm on a different level. Like who that is and what they doing. Like I would be a little jealous of Raquel or the friendship. You know? Yeah, Lil. So yeah, she one of them now. When during the carnival time, I can remember this clearly. She always would call me after she ready, so I wouldn't try to say, well, where you going? So see the next one right there to the carnival, and she's sending me pictures. I was like, well, where you with? Who you out there with? Well, what time y'all coming home? You know, it's like Miss Claire, I was like you, because I asking her like a ton of questions. And then the other group is the Out East crew. She would literally call me when she reached. She was like, I such and such. I was like, with who? Like, where y'all going? But how long y'all could be there? It's getting late, you know. You know? And this like automatic stuff. But everybody knew that, right, Kim? Everybody knew that. You know? All right, I mean, it don't matter. And I know, and everybody know. And my heart is broken. My heart is broken, you know. She called me when she was in the hospital too, and she sounded so strong, so strong. That was the strongest she had sounded in so long. Now I was at work and I was like, you know, just smiling, and we were talking, and she was telling me, Aubrey, she was telling me how the day before one of my songs came on, and you tell us like, you see Angelique's song? I can't remember which song. But I was like, how do we remember that? You know, and then I was to travel to Cat Island, and I didn't want to leave. So I called the ICU to find out if I would be able to come and visit her, but I wouldn't have been able to. So I went to Cat Island, and Puma still called me every day so that I could speak with her. And I had to cut my trip short because I felt like I was too far away. I needed to be closer to her. You know?
I have a joke, right? So when I was calling for her, there's one other of Raquel's friends named Siobhan, and Siobhan was on the phone, and Siobhan was like, Raquel, you know, we like coffee, and she started talking about some other things what they like, right? What they like so much, and I was like, Siobhan, you know, I could overhear your conversation, right? I mean, most of us like these kinds of things too. So anyway, so I just tell Angelique, I was like, Angelique, we just unlock Raquel's phone. So Angelique say, okay, now just delete all my messages. So Angelique say, just delete all my messages. Don't really, just delete them. All right. So Raquel just took a bite out of life, you know.
My thing is, I'm leaning on, I know when Raquel's transition to the other side is complete, she is going to be a fierce warrior queen. And she will just be everything. She will be more on the other side than she was here. I am going to miss her presence. I love her. Oh.
We used to send memes about how she is Kelly's only best friend. When people come around, she ready to assault you, and she was real for that.
A boy should get up more than one best friend.
No, sir. No,
Boy,
sir.
I have plenty best friends.
Kel had what? The rest were her friends, her good friends.
Come on. This is Raquel's next best friend.
Blessings, everybody. Kelly, I prayed so long for this day not to ever come. And yet still, in the same breath, I am ever so grateful for this day. Because my friend has shed her earthly body and has moved on to a greater calling. I want to first acknowledge those that came before, Mr. and Mrs. Cleare, for creating such a beautiful soul. To her siblings, Ari, Martin, Martine, and Ingy, I thank you because every interaction with your sister has created her to be who she is. To the love of her life, and to her children, Mahane, Aubrey, Ebonique, and Kai, I thank you for sharing her with us. Because of you, she learned how to love unconditionally, and from all of you. Her heart, spirit is so big. It was so big that her earthly body could not contain her. In my mind, she had to move on from her past for us to truly appreciate who she is. An angel that came to show us what unconditional love actively looks like. To love like Christ did, to sacrifice oneself to take on the pain of others. To live a selfless life under her terms. And when I say it was under her terms, it was under her terms. Not my terms, not your terms, but of her terms. Like a real queen. The story of Raquel is filled with many ups and downs and even more joys and sorrows. But what was forged from every battle she fought brought a strong warrior princess that rose to be a queen. Her heart was so open, and when she loved hard. She saw beyond this flesh. She was special. She took on many people's pains and loved them in spite of their earthly flaws. She was selfless with a big heart, and even the vagrants around her shop knew that. Anyone that was a part of her life knew this, that she had a big heart. Her light shined so bright that the darkness tried to consume her on many occasions, but the light the Father blessed this earth with continues to shine brightly. And in her transition, I will continue to shine. It will continue to shine brighter than ever, because the enemy's plans have failed. We are all here to remember her. And in remembering her, we continue to spread her light through stories of her kind words, her good deeds, and simply the greatness that she was. As we continue to lift her soul, we will shine a light on how she truly blesses her. Even in the moments her body failed her spirit, she continued to push, elevate, and love others. She was always an available friend, always. I mean, even though you was her best friend, I felt like I was her best friend. And Kira felt like she was her best friend. Underneath, like, yeah, I'm sorry. But yeah, she was just, Kelly was that.
And all gone wrong because I was her best friend.
Yeah. But everyone was her best friend. That was the person she was. She was always an available friend. She was always present. Just her ability to love people in spite of has always baffled me. She was special. That's why I said she came to teach me unconditional love. Because the thing is, I feel like, girl, you different. But it's the one thing I admire most in my friend. This is the lesson that humanity needs to learn. The lesson of unconditional love. I thank you, Kelly, for choosing to be a part of my life, to allow me to share in your earthly journey. And for that, I am blessed. Many may never experience a true friendship like I have, or an even truer sisterhood. But it warms my heart to know that I was blessed to know you and those that love you, each of our friends. You're truly an angel. Your transition has allowed you to continue to show us valuable life lessons, as you are now free to move beyond this earthly realm and be a spiritual guide to many of us, so that we don't get lost on this journey called life, on this earthly plane. I love you, Kelly, and thank you for continuing to be here with me, because I will see you again, my sister. My friend, Raquel Cleare. Thank you.
You ready to go see?
I
I gotta use a new one.
well,
I gotta
Kelly
use a
did
new
this.
one every time.
I just, I remember when we talked about doing the headshots, and she encouraged me, and she always encouraged me to do things beyond what I thought I could do. And I was like, Kelly, girl, you need to do some headshots, and it was just so. As she encouraged me, and we never knew that it would be the last beautiful thing of her, and she will continue to live here with us in our hearts, and just continue saying her name and speaking her name, because that is how she will continue to live on. And you guys just know that y'all are wonderful mother, wonderful, and she loved y'all. Ebony, continue to express herself artistically, because that was what she loved most about you. Kai, please continue to speak your mind, because she loved, like, that was what you inspired her to just be her true self, because you always spoke your mind, even as a baby, like, yeah. Aubrey Cleare, thanks. Just continue to grow and be awesome, because you was the only person, she was the only person who had a son. And she was very proud of you. And Rahane, continue to live and continue to take on life and be strong, because that's what she wants. Because she needs you to take care of baby, eh? Okay. Love you, thank you. Merci.
Anyone else? Kai. Come on, baby.
Thank you. To my best friend, my first love, my superhero, my twin, and my birth giver.
Speak up.
I'll always remember your last words to me. I love you. Always remember that. For the 14 years I've known you, there's not one bad thing I could say about you. You are such an you are such an amazing person. Any room you walk into, your presence lit it up. I adore you. I look up to you. I aspire to be like you. You are so selfless. Your beautiful smile, your funny laugh, your wild gold hair, your smooth driving, your crazy adventures, your crazy personality, your bold eyes, your amazing fashion, your beautiful locks, your lessons, your relationship advice, your wise words, your crazy ideas, your creative mind, and your love for your children. Mommy, I have so much stories I could talk about of you and us. I love you and I miss you until we meet again.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Still going. Got it?
Morning. Okay. So I don't claim to be a best friend, so Angelique could relax. But Kelly was my sister friend, and actually she coined, well, that's where I got the phrase from. I got it from her. And so I wanted to take this opportunity to just speak to the lessons learned from my friend Kelly, my sister friend. You know, I don't even know, I've been trying to pinpoint when I met her. What I can pinpoint is I knew Mtuma before I knew her, because we were in Atlanta together, Mtuma and I. And I'm sure Kelly must have come to Atlanta while I was in Atlanta, but I didn't meet her there until I came home. I came back home in 1998. So at some point since then, so I've been a friend almost 30 years, Julie. Okay, well, 20-something years. But my sister friend imparted so many lessons, and Kim just spoke to a few of them, but I want to say them in my own way. I mean, if you look around, there are a lot of strong black women out here. And Kelly was one of the first strong black women that I would have met who made me feel like it's okay for us all to exist and thrive and support one another. She was powerful in that way. She loved, yes, unconditionally. It was a selfless love. She always attended to the needs of everybody else around her. And those of us who are friends probably feel like maybe a little bit too much. Like, she took on everyone and everything, and especially, of course, her family, her friends, and for that we are eternally grateful. She was so giving. Anybody who was in Atlanta, Black Mecca, it was called, or it probably still is called, would have come to appreciate that you come to a point of reckoning as a black person where you come to accept, you're free to be black. That was one of the beautiful things about being there and meeting Mtuma as well. But coming back home and meeting Kelly, I mean, she walked that, she talked that, she lived that. And so that was another lesson learned from her. You know, her, Angelique, and I became, when they were in a party of two, we were a party of three. And we called ourselves the Dilly Crew. So not the Juju Crew, Mtuma, but the Dilly Crew. And some of y'all out here would be the Mango Crew. You get what I'm saying, right? So, and then we, forgive me, but one of the things, every time we'd go together, people would go, "Y'all sisters, hey!" And we'd be, yeah, because we dark skinned and we got big bungies, sorry. We look like sisters? Not really. But we certainly lived like sisters. As Mtuma said, I spoke to Kelly the night before, just before she became intubated. I lay no claims that I was the last one to speak to her. I don't know how it went, but I remember that night very vividly because she was very strong, as Angelique said when she spoke, stronger than she had been for months in her speech, and very resolute, as I read what Faith put in the memorial booklet. It reminded me of how I felt that night when she and I spoke. She said things like, "Miss Cleare, her mom, must be built out of titanium." And I agree. She was, of course, she loved her Somali. And she spoke about Rahane and how they were fighting together. And so Rahane, definitely she wants you to keep fighting. She spoke about, of course, Aubrey and how strong her son is. As Kim said, only her one son. And she's so proud of Aubrey. She talked about loving, of course, how the amount of love that she has for Kai and Ebony. And she also talked about having felt the prayers of all of those who loved her and have prayed for her. She felt those prayers. So as Mtuma talked about that this morning and coming out here in the prayer circle, I was reminded of that. And so I don't remember when we met, but clearly I'm going to remember when she left. And I'm just grateful to God for the time. You know, it's amazing. You talked about the circle and holding up those things that hold you up, Mtuma. I'm just so grateful to God that I had the opportunity to walk that part of the journey, this part of the journey with Raquel. She was a strong queen warrior to the very end. And I thank God for having met her and having been a part of this beautiful family. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Miss Johnson, or as Kelly coined it, Miss J. Can everyone hear me? Yeah. Hi, Angelique. I met Raquel when Ebony, I think, was in 3rd grade. They came to St. Francis. I taught at St. Francis, but I was the dance teacher as well. And I think Ebony goes enrolled themselves before telling Raquel. So one afternoon, we were having practice, and this lady comes to the classroom with these long locks saying she wants to see me. So I said, okay. I walk outside, and next thing I know, my practice is over. All the children are gone, all the parents are gone, and I'm still outside talking to this lady that I met for the first time, you know. She found out I was from Freeport, and the rest is history. So Ebony Kankai, of course, has been with the dance studio for some years, and but Raquel became a friend through the trips. I don't know if you guys would have known that Ebony Kankai goes travel with us to New York in the summers, and you know, it's just crazy because I'm not the most social person, so I don't know when this lady just crept into my life. You know, I remember after the first trip we got back, and she said, "Miss J, come over and get some food," and you know, I was like, what? So I went over to the house, got a plate, and I remember my sister saying, who is this lady? Because, you know, you don't bother like that, you know, but she was so consistent. It was like her attitude was, since you deal well with my children, I'm dealing well with you, you know. She was like the GPS on the trip. I remember our first trip, we were lost in the train station for hours because apparently I think they closed the route or something. It's not it. And but Raquel was relentless. She was like, no, I'm sure it's this way. No, I'm sure that way. We got home, Ebony, like 2-something in the morning, and had classes in the city like 4 o'clock in the morning. So, you know, the memories of her are so great. You know, I just never thought I'd be here. December we had ballet exams again, and the results came back while I was in Freeport. So I said to Ebony, boy, I need to share these results with your mom. And every time I called back to Nassau, they kept saying, she's still in ICU, but she's okay, you know. And when we got the news of her passing, I said to Ebony, I said, boy, we didn't get to tell her that, you know, Ebony actually got a summer scholarship to New York. She received a gold medal, and I was like, we didn't get to tell her. But she said, Miss J, I told her. My uncle called and put her on the phone, and you know, the tears roll down. So I'm not going to say much. It's so much. I have never cried. When I think about Raquel now, I just think about first. She was the first dance parent that became a friend. She was the first dance parent to feed me. First dance parent to invite me into her home. First dance parent to drive to Philadelphia with us. Just so many firsts. I've never viewed a body in my life. So Wednesday was the first time, and you know, I stayed in for like 2 minutes when I couldn't stop crying. Went to the funeral on Friday, cried the whole time. So I guess the memory is just first. But I just want to say thank you to Ms. Cleare, to everybody in her family that have accepted me as family, especially not being from here. Ebony Kankai, we will continue to do our best to make sure you do right. Everything that your mom would have wanted you to do. Thank you.
Nothing read. You got it.
Everything I really want to say. But
there you go. There you go.
I gotta miss it so much. Just for waking me up in the morning as simple as to clean the dishes. When we get in the argument, she'd apologize first. She was just always there from like in primary school, and I was at the master. She was always supportive of everything I did, done.
They can't hear you. Put your mouth down. Put your mouth down. There you go.
I just can't believe it that she's actually gone. I don't really know how to. I don't really know but I am proud of myself, and I'm happy that I got to tell her before she passed that I did well in school, and I got another scholarship that I really wish she could have been there with me. And she's not even going to be able to see me graduate. But I really appreciate her for everything. I love her forever. I love her forever. I never forget every single word she said to me. All I can really say right now is I love you, Mommy. I love you so much, and I thank you, and I love you forever, forever. So that's all I got to say.
Good morning, everyone. Now, since everybody talk about their good friend, I'm going to talk about my mother. Okay? My mother was my biggest cheerleader, my biggest critic, whether it was good or bad, whether she was happy or disappointed or upset with me. She stood by me through everything. And I didn't understand it until I became a mother. And that's when our relationship took on a whole new level and we got closer. And I just really understand now how much people's life she really impacted, and she played a special role in everyone's life, especially being a mother. This 2021 and 2020, we were locked down and Mommy was having dinners, birthdays, Mother's Day. She celebrated everything. I was like, Mommy, you know I tired, right? You celebrate everything this year. Christmas. She was all about family and fellowship and coming together and celebrating each other and just sharing love. So it's good to see that everyone came to celebrate her and show your love for her. Like, it was very overwhelming for me. Even personal messages from everyone, like even if I didn't reply, it was just, I didn't know what to say. It was just overwhelming. But Mommy, I love you and I miss you. And now I have to fight. I have to fight extra hard to try and fill your shoes. I don't even know how I can do that, but I have to fight extra hard because we were fighting together. And when she found out I had kidney disease, she was devastated. She was like, I don't know. I have to help Rahane fight because someone has to be here to take care of my kids. And that's very, like, you know, I don't have the words, but I thank all of you for sharing your love, showing love and support. Even when I didn't understand, everyone was fighting for best friend. Who is the best friend? Is sister. But she was my mother. She was my all. She was my everything. My everything. Through everything. Even when my second son, she was there. She was there. She was like, Honey, I come to visit you, but I going to see my grandson. When she called me, how's your pressure today? I said, my pressure's fine. How was treatment? Treatment was good. Okay, now where's my grandson? I put him on the phone. She said, I don't want to talk to you. I want to talk to my grandson. So he took my place in a way. It was all about her grandson. But she's coming out. It's all about her grandson. She was so happy. She was so happy. She always used to say, I look like a Grammy to you? Don't make me no Grammy. I ain't no Grammy. And I was so scared to call her, but I said, you know what, I'm 30, I'm going to be 30, and I'm going to call her, and I'm going to let her know she's going to be a grandmother. She was so happy, and she was so excited. And I faced a lot of challenges carrying my son. When I went in the hospital, I called Mommy. I said, Mommy, they're going to induce me. You need to be here like yesterday. And the next morning, Mommy was there. She was there when he was born. She was there for everything. Easter egg hunt, Christmas, his birthday, gender review, everything. She was there. My biggest supporter. And I just love her. And I still can't believe she's gone.
Okay.
So I thank everyone for loving her, and I know y'all happy she played an important role in your life. And she used to use her experiences to help people and teach people how to get through certain situations, and that's what I appreciated about her. On our last trip, which was July of last year, when I went to the doctor, she was there with me for all my appointments. You know, even though she was tired, she was in pain, she fought through it, she was there for me. So just how she was there for me, I have to be there for my siblings. So I just thank everyone for helping her fight and encouraging her and being there for her. And I love you all on behalf of her.
I'll go. Yeah, it's just a little win. It's just a little win, man. Just a little win and a little rain. That's all it is. You know. But so I just want to say thank you everyone for coming. Let's just pick up a piece of the altar and let's throw it in the ocean. Let's just say our prayers and everybody give a shout out for Raquel.
Don't eat that. Don't eat it. Don't eat it. Okay.
I say, why have to need to do this? I know, right? Oh, Sheila. Okay, then.
Yeah, let me cut it on now. Have to do it here and all that. All morning have to do it here. Yeah, I just flip from the mic up to the mic. Now she's going to put on the phone. What? Yeah, she's doing it right now. Cut it off. You got to do a pick up on the internet. Not play. Full match, right. Turn it off then.
Nedlip Productions.